We expected a crazy week. We got a crazy week. A crazy week where the Fed reduced rates by 50 basis points, where the major averages ended on the green. S&P up 1.3%, NASDAQ up 1.4%, Dow Jones up 1.6%, and the Russell 2.19%. But that wasn't everything. This was the 39th time in 2024 that the S&P 500 broke all-time high. By the way, it sounds like a coincidence, but this Monday is going to be week 39 of 2024, which basically means that every week, in average, we got a new all-time high. Of course, it didn't spread out that way, but when you think about it, if every week we're going to get a new all-time high, we have a few more up and coming. Are you ready to summarize all the events that happened this week? Or at least the major ones. Here we go. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hello, my name is Micha, and on this channel we talk about stocks, we talk about the stock market, and we also talk about, apparently, Intel, because the last two short videos that I uploaded were related to Intel, as if I have something with the stock. I don't even hold the stock, but news is news. If you're new, I would be more than happy if you can subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on, so you'll be notified not only every week that I post the weekly video, but also for all the short videos that I also post. Let's directly dive in. So we talked about the major averages. Let's talk about the indices. Look at them. Energy up 3.7%. On the flip side, real estate down 1.1%. Financials up 2.5%. Flip side, we see healthcare and consumer staples down between 0.5% and 1%. So it's not all out rally, but you do see more and more indices going into the green. That brings us, of course, to the crypto market, up Ethereum up 12.3% and Bitcoin up 9.4%. Both of them are not even close to all-time highs, but at least we're starting to see some kind of movement there. On the commodity side, natural gas up 6%, crude oil up 3%, and we see the gold and the silver up between 1.5% and 0.6%. Gold hitting an all-time high almost on a daily basis. People are flocking into gold as if we're at when people went to the river, 1700s. Seems like we're back to that time. Magnificent 7. Meta was magnificent 7%. Google 3.8. Tesla 3.4. And Amazon 2.7. Also Apple 2.5. But NVIDIA, precious NVIDIA, did not end green the week, minus 2.6%. And that, of course, will bring us to the major events of the week. And we will start with the Fed reducing by 50 basis points and releasing a lot of pressure in the market. Will the Fed reduce rates or not? Fed actually surprised the market. Some participants expected 25 basis points, but the Fed came through with a bigger cut, saying, I feel confident with what is going on and I have no problem reducing rates. We do see the dot plot. Dot plot is how the Fed members subscribe, or at least think where the rate needs to be. And you can see between June and September that they brought more and more emphasis on bringing inflation down, bringing rates down as fast as possible, and then kind of stabilizing with an average of 3.25% by next year. But take everything here with a grain of salt, because they are never right. Nothing that they do actually persists. If you look at this was June. They expected to end the year at around between 5 to 5.25. We are now here on the line, and we're supposed to get another 75 basis points down, which means it's nice to see it, but not more than that. Atlanta Fed GDP now comes at 3%, which means that we are not in any kind of recession. The economy is growing, and that's what Jerome Powell wants, to keep the economy growing and focus on the business cycle and not on inflation. Headline from Friday midday: Qualcomm recently approached Intel about a possible takeover. Could you think of a company as big as Intel, a ticker as big as INTC, and just disappearing? Qualcomm did. We don't know the results of that. We don't know. None of the companies, of course, answered or gave their version. We will probably hear from them on Monday. A very, very interesting phenomena where Qualcomm is double the size of Intel. There is no real overlap, so probably there won't be any problem from a regulator perspective. It's going to be very, very interesting, the combination. Also, the SEC approves options on spot Bitcoin ETFs. Nike replaces John Donohue, their CEO, after a very, very bad, not only stock performance, but also company performance versus competitors. And they're bringing back Elliot Hill. Gives everyone that sees this video a hope. He started as an intern through his college days, and now he's going to become the CEO of Nike. Just do it. Constellation Energy signs a 2-decade deal with Microsoft to provide them power through nuclear plants. That, of course, came in Friday and got all the nuclear stocks going up double digits. CEG, which is Constellation, Vistra, VST, and others went up, both of them double digits. Friday also, Apple launched the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. Probably on Monday we will hear if sales were as analysts expected or lower or higher. We're probably going to hear from both sides of that equation. Mobileye, ticker MBLY, at least before Friday's news, got good news on Thursday that Intel is probably not going to sell them. But now with Qualcomm, who knows? And of course, the stock sold off on Friday on the news. Mercedes-Benz lowering their forecast and putting in some kind of warning that the Chinese consumer is weaker than expected, at least the high-end one, and they're reducing their forecast. But we do know that Tesla is breaking their weekly insurance records in China, and probably going to be a very good quarter for Tesla. So maybe it's more of a Mercedes-Benz issue and not Chinese consumer. We don't know. We do know that also Skechers, the shoe company, also said the same thing. Again, it might be a Skechers issue, or it really might be a recession in China. We don't know. IBM is quietly exiting thousands of employees. Donald Trump paid in a pub in New York, in a bar in New York, with Bitcoin. This is probably the most bizarre use case for Bitcoin, but you know what? It shows his support for the cryptocurrency, and if that would bring Bitcoin up to 120,000, I'm not going to complain. Boeing begins furlough for employees. The reason is they're on the 11th day for the strike, and that means that they need to reduce their burn rate. And BlackRock, Microsoft, and others are launching a joint venture in Abu Dhabi and also Saudi Arabia to build a huge power infrastructure and also data centers. A lot of money, $100 billion, the whole project will get to. October 8, October 9, Prime Day for Amazon. Hopefully this will create some kind of buzz. Meta bans Russian RT from Facebook, Instagram, because they don't want them to interfere in the election. Microsoft announces a $60 billion buyback and raises their dividend by 10%, not to 10%, by 10%. And last but not least, DJT, Donald J. Trump stock, which is Truth Social, opened up for from their lockup period, and probably will see selling pressure going down. Trump insists that he's not going to sell any stock, but we don't know until we know. And that brings us to next week, or at least to the next few weeks. We are entering the season of analysts starting to update their end-of-year targets. Before that, Wells Fargo says, don't buy the rally. Fundamentals don't support it. Brian Belsky from Bank of Montreal raises his price target to 6,100 till the end of the year. We are now on the S&P 500 at... Where are we? We are here. S&P 500 at 5,700. He's raising to 6,100. So that is 400 more than where we are, around 6 to 7%. Even Goldman Sachs raises to 6,000. Again, higher than we are here. Are they right, or does this seem like a kind of a local top, and we will see correction? We will see that. We also have a few earnings. Micron on Wednesday, Costco on Thursday, and PCE on Friday. All this together would bring us to the worst 2 weeks in the calendar. The last 2 weeks of September are considered statistically the worst weeks. Everyone prepared for that. We saw that in the worst week at the beginning of September. And that's why there are noises that are saying maybe we won't see it this September. Maybe this September will actually be good and not bad with rate cuts and we're not in recession. We don't know. What we do know is that when we look at the charts, we put Japanese candlesticks, we put 50-day moving average on the chart, and we see where was our breakout. Our breakout was at the 56.69. If we're still above it, then we're at all-time high territory. If we break down, our next kind of support is around 5,600, and then we would probably find more support around 5,550. Those are the areas. If we'll keep, and at least Eddie Ardeni from Ardeni Research believes that there might be a situation where we will see a melt-up. A melt-up is where there's a lot of chase. Everyone wants to buy stock because they feel that they were left behind, because they didn't buy enough, because they were in money market funds, and all that happening. If that happens, we will, of course, address that in the next weekly summaries. Just mind the distance between where the price action is and the moving average. Put on your chart the 50-day moving average. That would be the closest one. And see how further we are from the 50. If we are keeping, let's say, a solid distance, that's okay. If we're too stretched, usually it means that we will revert to the mean. That's how it works. It's statistics. It's not more than that. We will keep updating everything that happens. Write me comments on the shorts. What do you think about them? Are they providing you value? Are they good? Are they bad? I would love to hear more and more from you. Thank you very much for your time. I will see you same place, same time next week. Till next time. Bye-bye.